Hello fellow map makers, welcome to tonight's live map making session. Hope you're all feeling fine and are up to another mapping session here on YouTube. I'm Ralf Schemmann of Fantasy Software and I'm here to show you a bit of campaign cartographer and in this case specifically city designer. Hope the sound is good. If there's any problems with the technical stuff, please do let me know and should be able to fix it, but it seems all good as I get reported on the chat. As always, if during the session you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll see that we can help you out, answer stuff, and I'll try to show stuff on screen as far as possible. Tonight I want to go into a little bit more technical detail. It's a little bit of an advanced topic because I do want to create a new map style and a city style to be exact from an existing map. And okay, I'm seeing that I might have a little bit of a glitch. I saw a little bit here on my screen as well. So if there's any problems, bigger problems, first off say hello to Aza. She's saying hello here. It's not Aza playing with the plugs. I'm double checking the USB connectors. And let's hope it's work. Okay. I do see that there's a bit of a glitch in the camera sometimes, a little bit of stuttering or something, but nothing seems to be off on my connections here. Since let's see how we can go on. If it gets too bad, let me know. All right, what are we up to? I've found, or I've revisited some fairly old maps that I used to do for a game, and it's a city style that creates some of the older German role-playing game maps from Das Schwarze Auge, the Dark Eye role-playing game, which I used to redraw in Campaign Cartographer for a bit. And I thought this would make a great example of taking an old map and making a new CC3 Plus drawing style from it and see that we can recreate and make it easier and possible for other people to draw maps in the same style. This is specifically a vector drawing style, so we don't need any outside bitmaps. Making it fairly easy to just work within Campaign Cartographer and create the style completely within the software. So everybody should be able to follow this and recreate that without having artistic skills as far as bitmap creation goes. So what do we have? I do have one of the example maps, or the maps I created in this style here, and I want to show off you the whole thing here. It's a fairly simple style. The maps are fairly quick to create. Also easy to draw over existing maps if you've got maps from the game that you want to get into an electronic version. And the style makes full use of all the old city designer like indexes and street tools and house tools, and I want to include all that in the new drawing style, and which gives me the opportunity to show you how to set those up in a new template and in this new environment. So still the hiccup in the audio and video. Yeah, let me just quickly replug the connection for the USB. I might be off for a second or two, so let's and back on. So let's see whether this is better in the long run. All right, so what do we need of style? We do need several things in Campaign Cartographer to make up our drawing style. Among these is a template and a the drawing tools for the style, some symbols, and so on. And I'm not going to start with the template in this because it's usually easiest to set everything up in a map you have already, and then create a template from that map at the end. So the first thing we want to do is create a drawing style with the tools for that. All right, still, yeah, sorry about the glitches. I don't seem to be able to do anything about that here, short of doing a complete computer restart, which is perhaps a bit much. This, as long as you can still understand me in general. So we know whether this is still workable or whether I do need to do a full restart to try to sort out this glitching. Because I don't want to create a video that no one can follow, obviously, but doing a full restart will take some time and cut into our video time here. Ooh, okay, that doesn't seem so good. Sue says that she's missing whole words, which is not good. Let me do first off just stop the stream and restart the stream. And so let's see whether that helps anything. It might be the internet connection. We had some storms and lightning here, so let's see how this goes. Okay, let's see whether the stream is working here again. See whether I can see anything in the preview. So that seems to, at least I can't see any glitches in the video preview here at the moment anymore. So that might have helped. See how this goes. So let's take a look. I'll continue here and you can tell me whether it's working better or not. So then I'm gonna go to my Campaign Cartographer program data folder, and because I want to set up my new drawing style, and for that I have to go into System and then into Draw Tools, and here's all the different systems are listed. And what I usually do is I grab something that is at least similar to what I want to do and go from there. Basically, I have two options here. I could go with the CC3 basic city style, which is the style that comes with Campaign Cartographer if you don't have City Designer. And it does have all the stuff, most of the stuff you need for a basic city. Or I could use the CT3 vector style, which is also pretty basic. And I think I'm gonna go with that as our new style. And I'm gonna just copy the folder, do a copy of the folder here and rename it. And so, well, how do I call it? How will I call it? This, let's call this just city vector, and I'm going to put in DSA for das schwarze Auge to remind me what this is based on. This is the name of my style, city vector DSA, and now I'm going to go into my map again and go into the drawing properties, and under the draw tool style, I'm going to select my new style. Here we are. As you see, as soon as I create a folder in there, a new one, this gets listed here as the style. And here you can also already see some settings here. We've got a default symbol scale of 0.3 in this. This is because this is basically a metric style, German role-playing game metric system. So I've scaled the cities, the symbols and everything from a normal city style to 30%, which takes me from feet to meters. And what is missing here, that's because it's a fairly old style, is a default text sheet. And for that, I'm going to input just text here at the moment. There'll also be some settings for the map modes we'll look at later. But first off, we're gonna leave it at this. And this way we do have the new settings in the map. Here we go. If I now click the All Drawing Tools button, it should bring up this style here with all the tools that were included in that style. And now we can go and edit these drawing tools and make them fit our the style we are going for all the colors in the map. And for that, I'm going to go through the different sheets and set up the tools accordingly. So if I go in here, and I'm going to go to the background sheet first, hide everything else, so I just see the stuff that's on that sheet. And as you see, we've got basically I've got my watercolor on this here. I'm using a water background as the default here, and I'm going to use the extract properties tool. That's a little pipette here. Hover over that, you should see extract properties pop up or not. Saw it a minute ago. There we are. Extract properties. I'm going to use this on the background sheet here, and see it's all just on the background layer. That lets the template wizard later automatically edit this. But what I'm interested here is the color, and you can see I have got my own custom color scheme here, and that's the color 220 in this style for the water. As I know that, I can now check out my water drawing tools and create a matching, or set the color to match this. These are water contours. We'll look at these later. I just want to go for my river drawing tool here at the moment. Where am I? Now, where my water drawing tool here. And you can also already see that these tools are fairly old, because they're not all set up as they normally are in the current drawing tools. Okay, and for that, I'm first for our default water tool, I'm just gonna say no outline, and on the tool here I'm already see layer water rivers is right, sheet water rivers. What I like to do, and I'm going to add here at this point, is the asterisk at the end. That means we can create other water river sheets and the tool will still work on them. And then I'm going to go for the 220 color, and this is my default drawing tool. I'm going to do the same here. See there, also they might be not all very set up as you expect, as they are. I've worked with them previously already, and I might have changed setting in this style. That's not quite the same as in your installation of City Designer, but they will generally be similar. Sorry, actually I'm in the outline properties here, and which I did not want to go to. I wanted to go into the properties. Same color here. Water rivers. You see the asterisk is already in this tool. And See, this uses a fractal version of the tool, and for now I'm just going to do it as a normal path and polygon like the other one. We can set this later. And this, since this one says no outline, this apparently assumes an outline, and I'll set them accordingly. I'm going to put an extra entity on this, which goes on the same sheet and layer, hollow fill style, and a darker version of the water tool here as the outline. So this is a good first set of water tools. We can work with this later, make copies in different formats like in smooth polygons or fractal tools. But this is the basis, and we'll leave it at that. Save these tools, click OK, and go to our next sheet. Since I've set this to auto hide, I can always go to the sheet spec, just clicking next sheet here. And here we are with the contours. So let's have a look. Extract properties again. The darker color is 218. That's 2 numbers darker than the default color. And the lighter version is 222, so 2 colors lighter, which I often set this up. And let's have a look. And we do have these contours here, but I might not want to use these. I'm going to be using different colors probably anyway. So what I'm going to do is, instead of using these ones, I'll create a new one based on the water no outline tool. And this I'm gonna call water contour darker. This I'm gonna make smooth, and the colors is gonna be 280. And the sheet needs to be water contours up here. Spell this right, otherwise we'll get new contours, new sheets created. It looks right. Save, and then I'm going to make a copy. And if I can select this, call this contour lighter, and make the color 222. So I have now set up the tools to draw the contours like these ones in here for the future, and we can go on to the next sheet. So this is my background color for the land that I set up. Go background map. So let's have a look. Our color is 236. And we do have some background tools, I think. See, city background, but that's on, oh, well, actually it is on the background city sheet here. So that's the tool we want. Background brown. But we're going to go in here and we're going to actually put this on the background city sheet. Again with the asterisk at the end, layers background map. And color is the 236. And you can see we've got these strange dots in here. That's an indication that there is an outline here. And especially it uses a fill style, which we're not using in this map, so we're just going to do no outline on the tool. There we are. And we have a matching gray tool, so we can, apparently I did not use that in this map, but I'm gonna just set it up the same way. So I can choose between brown and gray on the map. City background map. The gray color, solid fill style is correct. And turn off the outline property. Save. Okay. So there are my two outlines for the see this sheet here that's gone on. My background is actually the water, and the background city here is the first that defines the land area. Oh, turn on sheet effects here. Let's turn them off for now. There we are. And on to the next sheet. And as you can see, I've used a light yellow to create a beach on the map here. And for that, we are gonna see background map might not be the perfect layer to set this up. I could probably better use background other for that. So let's have a look. Do we have a tool for anything like that? No, I don't think we have. See, nothing like this is in here. So we do need to set up our new sheet for that. And this is going to be one of the terrain sheets. Yeah, see, I have only terrain earth and terrain grass in here. So we're going to grab one of these and edit that. And new, and call it terrain beach. Go. Again, no outline. This is quite obviously a bit of a fractal tool in here, so I'm going to use the fractal option. And for the properties, this is not going to go on vegetation. Instead, we're going to use the land features beach sheet. And gonna the 29 is the color I'm using for this. Background, I wanted to actually go to background other for this. Yeah, there we go. And there's my beach tool set up. And next sheet. What do we have? We have vegetation here. This is the green grassy areas I'm drawing. And as you can see, I've set up my, another tool for this. Background vegetation. So let's use extract properties again. Also, this goes on background other. So we can quite easily make a copy of our beach tool. So let's have a look. And we actually already have a terrain grass tool. I could, of course, edit that, but in this case it's probably easier to delete it and create a new version with terrain grass. Change the properties to the color. What did I say? Was the color used 117 or was it 116? 116 probably. Yeah, 116. And the sheet was background vegetation. There we go. Right, there we go. And I've got a question from Sue, which layers you have to be careful about when you're stretching the size of the map. This will usually be the map border layer, the background layer, and if I remember correctly, the screen layer. But I would have to double check the exact if there's something else I'm forgetting. But these are the ones I'd be careful about putting stuff on that's not in the template and is not supposed to be stretched when you change the area of the map. Alright, so we've got the vegetation sheet, next sheet, and now we are on the background contours. And this is obviously for highlighting the elevation changes. And as you can see, this is a little bit lighter than the other ones in successive coloring. Color increases 120 and then probably 121 here with the lightest one exactly. So let's have a look, and we do have some contour which we can directly use for this. The colors are different obviously, so let's have a look. Contour 0 will be our base color. Where's my contours? There we are. And I'm actually going to use this as the with the same color as our grass background I've used before. That way, because it's 0, 1, I'm using this as the same one. Normally won't need it because you already have the base green on the background grass, but sometimes it's going to be useful to have the same color available in the contour tools as well. So this is going to go on actually on background contours. And on sheet relief contour is correct. And we said 116 was the base color we used for the grass. Save, double check that there's no outline for this, which is correct. And I'm gonna make a new one for this because I do want to add something because I might also want contours later in brown or in gray. So I'm gonna do this as a contour. Could call it grass. Yeah, I'm gonna call it grass, not green. 0. So it corresponds to the background tool in name. And then I'm gonna delete all the others. And you create new ones based on this tool here. Oops, that was a bit too quick. So I'm gonna simply do grass 1, and this is gonna be 118 color. Or actually we're just gonna do these in one increment steps. 17, then 2, and I might not create all of them here because well, we'll just go up to 120. I guess that's enough, and you can always create other ones later. 119. And these will all go on the same sheet, so no terrain edge fade effects on these ones. But since they're plain colors, you can quite easily use a blur effect instead to merge them into each other, which is the nice thing about solid colors. 120. Here we go. And then what also gonna set up here with this, I'm gonna do a base varicolor contour, which has the same base properties like sheet and layer, but where you can just simply set the current color to draw in, and do this by checking the use current color up here. And we can create later other color variations if we want them available straight from the list of drawing tools. Okay, next drawing sheet. Background fields is empty on this map. We can go later. Vegetation is also there, but we do have some roads, road tools. Basically here I'm using just polygons for the road areas. You might obviously also want white paths and smooth paths. To those, the color is 252 I'm using for the gray one, but I also have some dirt and other colors here. So I'm going to take a look at what we can set up. We of course do have road tools on this here, and let's have a look. Road. Oops, not want to save the settings at the moment. Roads gray. I've got a little bit too many in here. Roads gray simple. That's probably the one that's already set up for this one here. Road paved is also a good one. Basically what the gray one is showing is the paved roads. So I'm going to use this as the basis. And gonna go also remove the outline again, and on the properties, roads with an asterisk, roads here, make it one darker to match our color in the map, and there we have the basic for that. What I'm gonna remove now first is all. I think I'm gonna remove all the other road tools and create new ones so we don't get confused and have lots of different setups. So I'm gonna delete these here first. Yeah, and now I'm gonna, so I do have, or actually I should have a look what my drawing tools here are actually calling up on default. Let me have a look first, save it for the moment. What happens if I click just the default roll tool? It says no drawing tool because it can't find any tool that starts with row default at the moment. So if you want to be able to use this tool by just left clicking it, we do need to set up a tool that calls or is called like this. But if I right click, it brings up just the row drawing tool, yes. But because there's only one, I don't get a choice between different ones. So let's go back here and go new and first call this simply road default. That way, if you only do one that starts this way, we get just this tool, no difficult choices to make. We just get the basic gray road tool when I click the road button. And now I do want some options for right clicking that tool, so I'm gonna, because I want to be able to pick this well without showing the sample, I'm also gonna just make a tool that says what it is in text. So one is paved, then I'm gonna do one that is road earth, or let's call it dirt, and for this I'm gonna change the color down here. That seems about right. 30, oh, might not quite. I'm gonna double check the color in a second, and I'm this one I'm gonna call road clay, and gonna change the color to, I think, 156 is probably the one. We'll double check in a second. So if I now right click the drawing tool, it brings up all the different road tools, and somehow I forgot to save my dirt brown color. Give me a sec. So extract properties here, double checking which color this is. Oh, it's actually a color from up here. It's the color 41. And this is 156. So let's go back in the tools. I think that's already correct. Yes, I chose the correct one. And for the road dirt, we need to pick the 41. Save. And now we do have the road drawing tools set up. All the ones that are currently in the map, all to be changed and updated later if I want to expand the style. And then next sheet again. Let's see where we are. City quarters, nothing showing here at the moment. Coastline. Oh, I can see I've set up actually a coastline on this map. And this is the coast C, coastline as the sheet. And this is obviously the outline of our background city sheet, as you can see here. So it's probably best if we put the outline as the part of that drawing tool. So I'm going to go in, go to city background, brown, go to outline, put in an extra entity, make that color black, and the sheet is going to be coastline, and layer coast and sea. Oh, fill style is not DOS brown, but hollow. So we just get the outline. There we are. And then the same on the gray version of the tool. Coastline, coast sea, black color, and hollow fill style. Okay, and now we've got the tool set up to do both the colored background and the coastline in one go. Okay, I got a question from Sue and Vivian. What does front only on layer do? Okay, that's an option in the drawing tools. Actually, I must admit I have not used that much. I would have to give this a try. But I'm assuming from the name, I would say that it would only consider entities on the same layer to be put in front of. But would that put that on different in a different drawing order, not basically on the top of the sheet you're currently drawing on? I'm frankly not entirely sure myself. Not an option I have used. And I think that leads a little bit too far to do during this session here, so I might take a look at another point and give you an answer on that. And I'm going to skip this for the moment, sorry. So let's have a look what's on the next sheet. We've got gardens here, something probably. I think I do need to show all sheets here at the moment to see what this is really about. This is obviously the fence I've created here, and it ended up on that sheet for whatever reason, perhaps when I moved a coastline somewhere or something like that. So I'm not going to set up a drawing tool for this at the moment. That's more like something very specific at some later point. So hide all again. Next sheet. Now we're going to the symbols. We don't need to, in buildings, we don't need to set any tools at this point for this. We can do that later if we need to, but I'm going to be doing house styles and road styles for this. That's the vegetation symbols. Sewers are not set up in this map, and the map border, the grid, the hyperlinks and buttons, text, and basically for now we've set up the everything we need for the terrain and general areas in the map. So let's have another look through the drawing tools to see what else we have in here which we haven't used in the map. I do have tools for city walls in here. I'm going to be doing city walls quite differently in this style, so I'm going to just delete them for now. The construction is always my helpful tool where I just put stuff on a temporary layer. Normally I'll also use bright green for that to make it stand out. So it's just if I need a drawing tool to do something quickly. I have an extra fields tools and gardens. I can see where the black outline comes from. So we can do this later. I don't need this fractal path. Parks is also not something green. It's not something I'm going to be using in this. For now I'm going to keep the number of tools low, create the stuff I need, I want to add later, and delete the ones that are in here. And we do have some river drawing tools. So far we've only used the water. And we can always go back to water. We don't need these at the moment. So I'm also gonna delete this. Those are my road drawing tools. Square paved. And then we have the streets. Yeah, and these I want to create basically also from the road tools here, because they are available from the roads button. So I'm going to delete these, and instead I'm gonna do road versions where I have white lines. So let's have a look. I have the road paved, and here I'm gonna just keep the road paved and put 5 meter street. Alright, just put 5 meters the width in there. Remember, I'm using a metric template, or I'm creating a metric template in here, and instead of a polygon we're gonna make this path by open, and then in the properties we're gonna set a fixed width of 5 meters, and everything else is gonna be the same. So it's gonna be on the same sheet, and I can use that together with my polygon version of the drawing tool. And I'm also gonna make a 2 meter option for let's make it a 3 meter option for the moment for a more narrow street. And there we're just gonna this, and we're also gonna do a current width version by going in here and switching it to current width. That's the way I can draw roads in varying width with the same kind of tool. And I would also set these up for the other drawing tools. So I'm gonna do a road dirt 5 meters, 5, and make this open. Then the same for 3 meter width. Of course, you could all do just with one tool, making a variable width one, but that makes having the options available from the start makes it a bit easier to just pick one. It's just a step less that you need to do. That you don't need to set up the line width specifically if you have these fixed ones available. And the current width version. Width, save, and now the same with clay. Five width, open, and a 3 meter width. And last one, current width. Note the outline, the properties, use current width. There we go. That's all the raw drawing tools in varying width setup. Then we do have another 10-foot wall here, which I don't want for this style out of the box. I'm gonna delete that. And the yard one is also something we're gonna do in a fresh version or replace with something else. And I'm actually gonna... no, it's fine with the water tool. We don't have to worry about different tools names for this because we don't have a dedicated water icon as we have in the dungeon or overland styles, for example. So it's not so important which exact names the tools have. You're going to see them if you click the All Drawing Tools button. Otherwise, they will not be available from any from the specific tools. There we go. And that's enough for the start with drawing tools. We can always create ones later when we find out that we need something specific and add them based on this one. I always like to cut down the number, so I start from always the same base of the drawing tools and then build up from there. Otherwise, it's too easy to get different drawing tools which should be the same in their settings in the style. All right. Good. So, has Remy explained what the options front only and layer does? Well, I've got to double check the chat later. Good. So, what's the time? I've got another 10 minutes to go. So we do have the drawing tool set up. We do load the drawing tool because it's set in the drawing presets. So this is the first step for the style all done. The next would be to take a look at the specific symbols for that map. This one is obviously using at the moment the vector symbol set is loaded up here from City Designer 3. The problem is these symbols are actually a little bit too detailed for what I'm doing in this style. If you can take a look at this, the roofs are all very simple, not too many additions or specific things on them to keep the map overall simple, easy to read, and easy and quick to draw. So I normally don't want to use these a little bit more complex symbols in the same map. But what we could do, we could take some of these symbols, make them simpler, and save these as their own symbol catalog. But for the moment, I'm just gonna load up the catalog I've already set up with specific symbols for these. And as you can see, I've got a few symbol sets here. already, and if I take a look of this just has a small selection of different symbols for that specific template, for that specific style, and I'm gonna save these as their own symbol catalog and show you how to load them up with the map automatically. So I'm gonna I've got this catalog open, which I will still change and do stuff to in the development process, but I just want to put it in the correct location and load it up with a map. So I always get that when I open the map or create a new one from that template. So I'm going to save as. I'm going to save this as a symbol catalog again. Go to my C3 Plus program data folder, symbols, cities, and again I'm gonna create a new folder just in case I create multiple catalogs for our new style, and I'm gonna name this the same as my draw tools folder, so city vector DSA. No. Why is my system complaining now? Creating a new folder should not. There we are. Just took a second. And I'm gonna call this just the default catalog for now. So I've got this folder now in the C3 Plus program data folder. And if I go back to my here, I'm going to go in my drawing properties again and take a look at the map nodes and take a look at the open macro map node. And as you can see, we do have a few different commands in here. And as you can see, they still have the old double cross notation and need updating anyway. So what we are loading here is the city menu, and nowadays it should be prefaced with a @ symbol, because that signifies the program data folder. The other symbol signifies the program files folder, which nowadays only contains the exe file and the DLL files and not the menus anymore. So we need to change this. This is the catalog setting that gets loaded for City Designer 3, which is fine. And here's the, as you can see, we are loading default catalog already, but also we do need to change this to the @ signifier cities. And now I need to put in the folder I just created, city vector DSA / and then the default folder I created. Oh. And I already have some street and house settings set up for this style, which is good to know. I'm going to check these out later and rename them, but for now I'm going to leave them in because I haven't touched them yet and don't know exactly what I'll be naming them in my final version. Okay, and what I usually do is I copy this and put the same stuff in the new. A new macro gets called when you create a new map based on a template from the template wizard. Otherwise, it's all gets executed when you open the map. So if I zoom out here, save the map, and if I now reload it, you can see it does load the freshly saved catalog in the catalog window, and I have all the default stuffs in there. I can still go to the City Designer symbols by just clicking the normal City Designer drawing tools and going back to my custom one by reloading the map. Alright, that's how you set up the catalog that gets loaded when you start the map. And the next up would be that I take a look at the house settings, how they're set up and how they are loaded with the new map. And I think that is a bit too much for the next 5 minutes, and I'm gonna call it a session for now and continue with this topic next week, because it'll take at least another session, perhaps a couple other sessions, to set up the style completely. And then I also want to create a new map in the style, show you how then to proceed once you've got the template set and the style set up. Alright, that's a good start we had on this map. Don't know the sheet effects here for the moment. See the map as it's I'm intending the style to work out, and hope you enjoyed this, and have a good day, and see you again next week. Thanks for watching. All the best. Bye bye.